Welcome back to the podcast. Welcome back to the channel. Justin Rombo. We are back at it again. Arizona, Sweet 16. Feels good. Take down the hated Oregon Ducks. Feels good, but we got Duke coming up on Thursday. That's going to be a big game. Can't wait. We'll get into day 4 reactions, March Madness. This is where it got a little bit interesting. It got pretty interesting. Starting off the day, probably the best game of the tournament. UConn, Florida, 77-75 victory for the Gators. UConn, man, coming off a back-to-back title these last 2 seasons, coming in as an 8 seed. Obviously, this hasn't been the season for them, but Liam McNeely, he's a dog for UConn. He's a dog. He's got good size, can shoot it. At the end of the day, watching these March Madness games, it comes down to 2 factors. How do you shoot the ball, and do you get into foul trouble? Obviously, the pace slows down for some teams, but if you're able to control the pace, stay out of foul trouble, hit threes, you're going to win most of these games. So for the Florida Gators, they go 9 of 19 from 3. And for UConn, they go 8 of 29. Now, it was close. At half, UConn, Diarra was able to hit a deep 3 to tie it up 31-31 at halftime. It was a balanced attack for UConn, despite struggling from 3. But what stood out to me was this trio of guards for the Gators is probably the best in the country. With Clayton, Richard, and Martin, they have a good big 3 down in Gainesville, and they accounted for 73% of the offense for Florida. They scored 56 of their total 77 points. These are some dogs. Obviously, Walter Clayton had some contested threes. He was able to hit them. I like this Gator squad moving forward. I think them and the Duke Blue Devils are the best 2 teams in the country. Obviously, for my Arizona Wildcats, it's going to be a bit of a challenge, but we'll get to that as we look forward to these games coming up this week. Foul line trouble for the Gators. They were 15 of 24 from the line with 2 minutes to go. So the Gators weren't converting from the line, but they were able to lock down UConn. They had some costly turnovers down the stretch for the Huskies. Florida just took over to clinch that one. It was a really good game. We've had some great games this past weekend. One of the ones that was close at the beginning, but Duke was able to run away with it, was Duke and Baylor. Just a dominant performance. We'll get to them a little bit later. Alabama takes care of St. Mary's. Like I mentioned, the 3-point disparity can be the difference between winning and losing. Alabama was able to hit 41% of their threes, 52% from the field. St. Mary's, 3 of 14 from 3. That's only good for 21%. And 34% field goal percentage is not going to win you very many games. Up next on the slate, Colorado State and Maryland. Maryland was able to come back down 12. Colorado State had this game in control for most of the game, but the illustrious Derek Queen was able to bank in a running floater, running jump shot for the Terrapins. A lot of Colorado State fans wanted that for a travel. I'd say it was close. It was in the moment. It just all happened so fast, and that's kind of tough to call if you're a ref, but what an unbelievable finish for Maryland. That was just unbelievable. It's crazy because Colorado State had a 3-pointer that pretty much sealed it for them, but then Maryland was able to go with 3.6 seconds left and able to hit that game-winning shot. Unbelievable. The Terrapins move on to the Sweet 16. Up next on the slate, Ole Miss and Iowa State. Tough day to be a Cyclones fan. Padula was going off. Ole Miss, they had 5 players in double figures, and when you have that balanced attack for the Rebels, it's really tough to stop if you're the Cyclones. And Ole Miss is able to go to the Sweet 16. Michigan State and New Mexico. I really like New Mexico coming into this game. They kept it close to start, but Tom Izzo, when it's March, Tom Izzo just goes to a totally different level. They were able to gain steam going into halftime, and they pretty much ran away with that one. But New Mexico was up 2 at half, but Michigan State took over in the second half. Now, the game that I was most looking forward to, and I'm sure most of America was looking forward to, Oregon, 5-seeded Oregon versus 4-seeded Arizona, the winner playing Duke on Thursday. Now, this season has been quite the year to be an Arizona fan. Every single year feels like that. With a win in this game, this would be our first Sweet 16 in back-to-back seasons since the 2014-2015 squad. Now, being an Arizona fan, that 2014 squad I will remember forever as a team that should have won the national championship if it weren't for Brandon Ashley's injury. We had TJ McConnell, Nick Johnson, Aaron Gordon, a stud freshman, Caleb Tarzunski, I think, Brandon Ashley. We had dogs on that roster, and we were the number one seed. We were the number one team in the country for like 2 or 3 months. I was convinced we were going to win the national championship. I think we would have won if Brandon Ashley didn't get injured, but that's neither here nor there. But in terms of this season, obviously I love our guards, Jaden Bradley, KJ Lewis, Caleb Love. Obviously we have a little bit of a mixed feeling with him. There will be games where he shoots horribly from the field, only has like 6 points. And then there's times like tonight where he'll drop 29 points, 9 rebounds, 4 assists, 10 of 18 from the field, 5 of 7 from 3. It's just magical. Obviously, he had that North Carolina run in 2022 where he took an 8-seeded North Carolina all the way to the championship, ultimately losing to the Jayhawks. But the last time that Caleb Love met up with Duke in the tournament, he was able to create some March Madness of his own and hit a game-sealing 3 to send the Tar Heels to the championship. He's got it in his veins. He's got it in his DNA. He's meant for these big moments, and he showed out. But to start, it was not looking good for us Wildcat fans. Oregon comes out of the gate with a 19-4 start. At this point, everything's running in my mind. No way we blow it. Is this it for Tommy Lloyd? Because we've had some struggles in the tournament the past couple of years. His first season as coach, I think he wins Coach of the Year, but we blow it in the tournament, and we haven't been able to get past that Sweet 16 mark. And sometimes we haven't even been able to make it to the second weekend. But with Tommy Lloyd and the crew, they were able to get things back in order. Jaden Bradley hits a 3. Caleb Love starts getting going with shots toward the rim and toward the mid-range. He's not just chucking threes right away, which I love. Get going early, get some buckets down low. He was able to get a couple floaters, get his rhythm going, and then he started bombing threes late in the second half. But we'll get to that. Some players of the game. Toby Awaka was able to dominate inside. 12 points, 14 rebounds, 5 offensive rebounds. It feels like he had 50. He was getting every single thing off the rim. Obviously, we were down 19-4 to start. They literally couldn't miss. I've noticed over the years with Shellstad for Oregon, he's number 3. Chris Duarte was an unbelievable player for Oregon, and Peyton Pritchard was also number 3. So these number 3 players for Oregon are always just undersized guards that can shoot the hell out of the ball. So we had to keen on him. Other than that, this Oregon team, they didn't really have that go-to player other than Shellstad. Like, if he wasn't doing anything, it was kind of just Arizona taking over. But in typical Arizona fashion, it came down to the wire. 81-80, Arizona with the ball, 10 seconds left. They were pressing. We had to hit some free throws down the stretch. Del Orso had a clutch 3 and clutch free throws down the stretch. I love this squad. Can we make it to the Elite Eight? Can we make it to the Final Four? If we get past Duke, the ceiling is the limit. Like, we can literally do anything if we beat Duke. We have a couple days to game plan. We got to stop that. Their center, I think it's Malinich or something like that. We got to stop him. Obviously, Cooper Flagg's going to do his thing. But if we can force him into shooting or just completely take away everybody else and have him beat us, I'd be okay with that. Show us what you got, Cooper. It's going to be a battle. I hope Caleb Love shoots it every single time. I don't care at this point. We're going to go out guns blazing. I need all the Arizona fans that can to travel. We need U of A chants like erupting in the arena. I don't even care. I just hope it's a good game. I hope we don't get blown out. But man, Caleb Love, what a performance. It'll be remembered forever. I think if Caleb Love is able to beat this Duke squad and send us to the Elite Eight, something that Sean Miller, Texas's new head coach, was never able to do for Arizona, never took us to the Elite Eight. If this team can get past this Duke squad and go to the Elite Eight and potentially the Final Four, this will be our best squad since '97, and because our 14 team wasn't able to do it, our '97 squad came out of nowhere and won with Miles Simon and Mike Bibby and Jason Terry and the crew. But we need it, us Arizona fans. We need it after this horrible football season that we had, just absolute dog water. And our first season in the Big 12 getting blown out by K-State, just horrible. We need this as a fan base. We need to beat Duke. Duke, you've had your national championships. You've had your Final Fours. Coach K is retired on some random beach in Miami. We need this. Tommy Lloyd needs this. It was looking rough at the beginning of this season. We started off really, really, really slow. We started to come on to it at the end. Lost to Houston in the Big 12 tournament, but I think we can have it. I think we got it with this squad. Awaka is just dominating inside. He needs to go off. We need Caleb Love shooting. We need Carter Bryant playing more minutes. He had a quiet game, but he made some huge plays. When he did make plays, he made some huge plays. Trey Townsend only with 10 minutes in this game. A bit questionable, but I know he's been dealing with some injury issues, but overall, this was the game of the tournament in my eyes. We beat the first Mid-America, or the first MAC opponent we've ever beaten in the tournament, Akron. Beat him by 28. We were able to beat this Oregon squad, defeat another Big Ten team, which is huge because the Big Ten in this tournament has been going off. Big 12, only 4 teams left from the Big 12. To make it to the Sweet 16 is pretty good. Texas Tech, Houston, Arizona, and I forget the other one, but I'll find it. But yeah, just an unbelievable game for U of A. Some of the top performers, like I mentioned, those big 3 for the Gators: Walter Clayton with 23 points, Elijah Martin with 18 points, and Will Richard with 15 points and 6 rebounds. Cooper Flagg, our Cooper Watch here on the Justin Rumba podcast. Every single game we'll be going over his stat line. He had 18 points, 9 rebounds, 6 assists, 5-11 from the field. Just a consistently dominant player, doing a little bit of everything. Derek Queen, as I mentioned, with the game winner, had 17 points and 6 rebounds. 6 Alabama players were in double figures with their win over St. Mary's. And a bit of a shout out to Kylan Boswell in the loss for Illinois, had 23 points and 6 assists. He was a former U of A player. Gave us a couple good years down in Tucson. But as we look ahead to these games coming up this weekend, on Thursday, first game of the night, BYU and Alabama. BYU's been hot. They've been a hot team. That's the other Big 12 team. Alabama, obviously, Mark Sears and the crew. That's going to be a tough game. I have Alabama winning that one. Maryland and Florida. Maryland barely squeaked away from Colorado State, and Florida's been the most dominant team. I'd probably take the points with Florida. I think they're going to blow them out. Arizona Duke. It's going to be really tough. Tickets as low as $263. Wow. It's going to be a great game. Obviously, the narrative is going to be there. Caleb Love played for North Carolina was able to beat Duke in the tournament. I think Duke will be a bit much to handle. It's going to be tough. Obviously, I'm not going to predict Duke, but they're going to be a lot. It's going to be a lot to handle. It's going to be an interesting 2 hours watching that game, but we'll see what happens. 8:39 tip-off on CBS for that game. And the last game, Thursday, Arkansas, Texas Tech. Calipari's squad is good. They are very talented. JT Toppin and the crew for Texas Tech. That's going to be a battle. I think if Texas Tech isn't hitting shots, I think Arkansas could win that. I could very well see Calipari's squad going to the Elite Eight. Looking at Friday, March 28th, the slate is a little less interesting in my eyes. Ole Miss and Michigan State. I mean, you can pretty much rename Michigan State. You can just add in Michigan State owns March because they're gonna make it to the Elite Eight. Tom Izzo and the crew. Next up, Kentucky and Tennessee, a battle of the SEC. Now, these schools have played each other quite a bit this season. And I believe that Tennessee, if I'm not mistaken, hasn't fared well. Kentucky beat them in January by 5 points at Tennessee. And again, they lost in Lexington by 11 points. So Kentucky's had Tennessee's number. So it'll be interesting to see if Tennessee is able to finally get one. It's very hard to beat teams twice in a season, let alone 3 times. So that'll be a battle of the SEC. Auburn and Michigan, Big Ten versus SEC. That's going to be a tough matchup. Auburn's looked very dominant, but I think the matchup of Golden and Braum will be an interesting battle in the paint. I probably can see Auburn winning that one. Tickets as low as $500 for that game. And last but not least, Purdue and Houston, Big 12 versus Big 10. I haven't watched too much of Purdue in this tournament, but I just can't see them beating Houston. I mean, I do like one of their guys. Obviously, Braden Smith's been on their squad for a while. I do like Trey Kaufman-Wren. Fletcher Lawyer's on the squad too. But I think Houston's just dominant. I think defensively they just shut teams down, and I think they're going to do the same with Purdue. So for my Elite Eight, I have Houston, Arkansas, Florida, Bama, Arizona, and Duke. I don't want to say, so we'll leave that. We might do a little strictly just Arizona versus Duke preview. Michigan State I have moving on. I have Tennessee beating Kentucky. It's very hard to beat a team 3 times in a season, so I have Tennessee. And last but not least, Auburn over Michigan. Mostly chalk. It's been mostly chalk all tournament, so I don't see that changing really at all for these rest of these games, but it's been quite the tournament. Let me know who you guys have winning on Thursday and Friday. This has been the Justin Rumble Podcast. We are on YouTube, Spotify. I'll be running some clips on the J Rombo Podcast Instagram as well as TikTok, so be on the lookout for that. Enjoy this week. Get some rest. We have games coming Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. We will be back with more content. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. And until next time.